the culture conversation here. I'm super excited to go back to what you were saying as well about that honest dialogue in particular.
We can't talk about culture and honest dialogue without going into psychological safety. Needs to exist at every level. So when we're talking about leadership, when we're talking about leadership and their teams, psychological safety is so key. And in this question, really, the honest dialogue comes before the bold action. And sometimes it is the bold action to have that honest
Ooh.
dialogue. We can purport to have safe spaces, but do we know what a safe space actually looks and feels like for each member of our team, for each member of our leadership? Or are we making assumptions? Like, is a safe space right now very simply defined as a here is an anonymous survey, or we'll have certain people leave the room so that you can speak? Those are blanket recommendations, really. But do we actually understand the identities that people are bringing to the table? Do we understand the privilege that's at play when we create the psychological spaces or psychological safe spaces that we think we're making? There's a great blog post from Frank Velasquez Jr. on community centric fundraising, CCF, about privilege and about spaces in nonprofit for people of color. As a racialized individual myself, really resonates with me because it talks about how there's essentially a constant state of fear for marginalized folks in nonprofit, in most spaces, quite frankly. And let's be real about it. The nonprofit sector is a very white space. It's a very white space. Leadership teams are often white spaces. And again, that privilege is pervasive. There's a lot of code switching that folks like myself have to do. And when I say the word privilege too, I want to clarify this. And I literally read this morning, I think Jess Meredith on LinkedIn said privilege is a lot like gratitude. It can stand along hardship. It's not mutually exclusive, right? So when I say privilege, it's not meant as an attack on my white colleagues and leaders and peers. It is simply a fact. It is a fact. And this sector would not exist without privilege. That is a fact too. We need to acknowledge it. That's bold action. That's an honest dialogue right there of let's acknowledge how that manifests for marginalized people at the table so that we can have a conversation about what it means to make a safer space, what it means to have an honest dialogue,